sir.
Good afternoon, Shreya. Welcome. Welcome to the mock interview.
Thank you so much, sir.
You have an interesting CV. We see that you have done your BA from IIM Indore and then gone on to do MBA as well.
Yes.
I never knew that IIM Indore offers undergraduate programs as well.
Yes, sir. It's a new programs.
Okay. And one of your interests is Kathak. Do you still practice Kathak?
Sir, I have learned Kathak in my early school times. So I have been in touch performing it in school and colleges.
Oh, I see. So, who are the current performers of Kathak who are in the news?
Sir, Birju Maharaj ji, and I personally know since my Guruji was from the Gangani background, so I know about Rajendra Gangani ji and Sitara Devi ji. So these three I know about.
Are there different schools of Kathak, or is it just one school?
Sir, there are three gharanas of Kathak. They are Jaipur, Banaras, and Lucknow.
Jaipur Gharana and Banaras Gharana and Lucknow Gharana. And what is the origin of Kathak?
Sir, initially it started as a folk dance, and then it moved with temples calling the Kathakars to perform Puranas or scriptures from the temples. It converted to a classical dance form.
Classical dance form. Right. And what are mudras?
Sir, mudras are hand gestures that we can show while performing any art form.
So, can you show us some mudras which, with your fingers, which denote something, and why do they denote what they denote?
Sir, this is pataka. Sir, we can use it in different manners. For example, it can be used to show that we are wearing a sari. Then we can also do three pataka, and we can show it in this form, that is Krishna. Then there can be this is hastak, pushpa hastak. We can show this, and in this is, I don't remember the name, but this can be used to show mukut, and in this manner we can show a lot more.
Okay. Now, coming from classical dance to something more current and something that is occupying everyone's mind these days is the pandemic. Yes, so, what do you think has gone wrong with the way we have handled pandemic?
Sir, there are arguments that government at a large extent has failed to manage the pandemic. Like, for example, we underestimated, or we did not really think that the second wave will be very severe and will rise at such a high rate, and hence we could not develop the medical infrastructure at this rate. Also, there is argument that vaccines could be made available at a faster rate, which was not done. So these two things are mostly talked about. While along with that, I feel that we must also consider that that already India's health infrastructure was not too great. So we cannot expect the government to suddenly serve to a large number of population that has fallen to this disease. For example, even for Italy, which has the best form of medical infrastructure, they could not cope up with the pandemic suddenly. So how can we expect Indian government, which is already lacking in the infrastructure, to cope up with sudden rise in cases?
So why do you think we lack in medical infrastructure? We are one of the top countries of the world. We should be setting an example in terms of medical infrastructure.
So number one would be that there is less allocation to medical infrastructure, and we have a lot of policies like national health policy and other schemes like Ayushman Bharat and other things, but somewhere we lack in the implementation process. Then the these two things, and also there is a perception that government hospitals or the government provided facilities are not up to the mark, hence people move on to the private medical infrastructure, and the private medical infrastructure is expensive, as well as they cannot cater to the masses because they work on the profit basis. So these three factors are mainly responsible for a like downgraded medical infrastructure.
The problem of oxygen you have not mentioned, that availability of oxygen was found lacking, but in certain part of India there was no shortage. Have you heard of that area?
Yes, sir. Sir, I know about one district wherein the district collector had forecasted that there might be a second wave, and he had installed the oxygen generators, or the pumps from where oxygen can be taken. And also in one hospital, I don't remember the name, wherein they had put in the medical infrastructure. I don't remember the specific name.
You remember the name of the district?
I think it's no, sir.
No.
Raipur. I may be wrong, but I think it's Raipur.
No, it's not Raipur. Why do you think other districts did not do the same thing? Why couldn't they do the same thing? Or why could it not be the central policy? If district magistrate could foresee a second wave coming and he prepared for it, why couldn't the country do that?
So I think efforts were being made. It's not like the government was not making efforts, but the only thing is that the demand for oxygen has risen by 400 times, which is a lot. So it becomes very difficult to cater to this demand in a sudden manner. While we must also understand that carrying oxygen, the oxygen is produced in the eastern states, and carrying that oxygen to different parts of the country involves a lot of challenges which cannot be met in a short period of time. For example, we need cryogenic tankers. We have to optimize the supply chain. So this will take a little bit of time. So even if the government was making efforts, I feel, but it could not take place at a faster rate. That is my view.
Rajiv ji, take on from there. Unmute yourself, please.
I have to unmute myself.
No, not you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Shreya, who is your favorite sociologist?
Sir, there is no specific sociologist that I like. I like certain parts of one or the other.
Which one?
Sir, I like the alienation concept given by Marx.
Marx. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any other part of Marx that you like? Has his reading of history, has his reading of sociological development, has it proved correct?
Sir, Marx definitely brought new light to sociology, but I don't think that his absolute theory of capitalism being overtaken by communism has proven to be correct. For example, even in the communist states, we do not see that a complete revolution has taken place, and there is.
Would you call them communist states or socialist states?
Sir, they can be called as socialist states, I would say. Communism hasn't arrived yet.
Okay. What are your views on the Citizenship Amendment Act? Your views?
Sir, I think India is a secular state, and giving a citizenship on the basis of religion should not be propagated. And we understand the concern of government that they want to serve the people or help the people of Indian origin, but discriminating them on the basis of religion is not fine, in my opinion. So that is my view.
Your views on farm laws?
Sir, I think the farm laws have been brought up in a good spirit. That is, they aim to increase income of farmers and reduce the dependence of the farmers on MSP or other bottlenecks that exist. So, but currently, the way in which they were brought has led to a lot of problem, wherein the farmers are taking in the wrong light. They are thinking that these bills will harm their interest, let go of MSP, and increase the transaction cost, because they will have to search for buyers outside the mandis. So although the bills have come in good light, but they have not been projected in the right manner. That is what I feel.
You mentioned Kathak as in your extracurricular activities. Okay. Do you think it's an extracurricular activity or it's a part of your daily life? I mean, it's a routine sort of thing in your life.
No, sir, I wouldn't call it a routine. It is an extracurricular activity to which I had given extra time and tried my best to get a certificate in that domain or the discipline.
The police services you've not mentioned because of some medical condition, I suppose. Okay, yeah. In which the music world has lost a very prominent Khayal, Drupad singer from Banaras Gharana recently. Who was he? One
Sir,
of the
I
most
don't.
prominent in Drupad or Khayal from the Banaras Gharana.
Yes, sir, I read it, but I'm not getting the name right now.
Rajan Mishra.
Yes, sir, I think. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. Which instrument is normally accompanying the Kathak? Which instrument? Yeah.
Sir, tabla and pakhawaj, and there is also harmonium.
Is there a difference in the in Pakhawaj and tabla in their speed? I mean, they say that it's a tabla is broken into two, so it has a different speed, different connotation for a dance form compared to Pakhawaj, which is one continuum. It vibrates.
Sir, I am not aware about the difference.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. I would. So let's go back to sociology for a while. What did Max Weber? Where did Hegel differ from Karl Marx? Which was the point of their difference?
Sir, Hegel said that the evolution of history takes place on the basis of ideas. That is, one thesis comes in contact with antithesis, and then a synthesis is formed. But Marx says that ideas, instead of ideas, it is the material objects that bring changes in the society. That is, the production level or the forces of production, they are responsible for bringing change in the society.
What was the view? What were the views of Max Weber on religion?
Sir, he said that the Protestant ethics was a form of religion that led to rise of capitalism, because it had characteristics which supported the principle of capitalism.
Which sociologist wrote a lot about caste system in India?
Sir, I would say Gurdjieff and even Srinivas.
Aman Srinivas. Okay. Did his study have a wide range? I mean, or was it confined to very few places? So it really didn't reflect the caste system obtaining in different parts of the country?
Sir, although he studied Coorg society to come up with the concept of Sanskarization, but I feel that it is a very logical analysis done, which can be seen throughout India or in different parts of India. So I wouldn't restrict it to one area.
What was Emily Durkheim's concept of marriage?
Sorry, sir, I don't remember.
Durkheim's view on religion?
Sir, Durkheim was a functionalist. So he thought that religion as an institution was also functional, and promoted integrity in the society.
So through,
And
okay, yeah, okay, please go ahead.
And to come up with this idea, he analyzed the primitive religions and extrapolated them to the modern religions of today's time, wherein there are a lot of diversities present in people with differentiation and specialization, which due to and because of religion, people come together, they feel common consciousness and stay integrated in the society.
One other question on sociology. What was the concept of Karl Marx on communism vis-a-vis socialism? Did he make a distinction between the two?
Sir, socialism, as per Karl Marx, is a transitional stage. When we are moving from capitalism to communism, in between we will have socialism, which is a stage in which the workers, the proletariats will come as the ruling power. They will be holding the property or the power in the society, take it from the capitalist and hold it in their hands. While in communism, the ownership is common, there is no state, and there is common ownership of property. So this is the difference.
Okay. Now, will you tell me something about in sociology, why do we make compartments like caste, studying the society through the prism of caste, and it doesn't work out everywhere else? This concept of division of society into caste or any other, is it prevalent in other parts of the world also, or only in India, that division?
Sir, division, stratification, or hierarchy, I do not say that it is restricted to India only. It is present in different parts of the world. For example, race is present in the Western world. There also categorization of people takes place, and they are also similar as in India. There also they are trying to end these social evils. So I do not say that it is specific to India.
Now, my final question to you, Shreya, this should get you inside the services. What makes you think that you will make a very good civil servant?
Sir, I think that I am very positive. Then I also believe, since I have done management, I have also acquired skills of persuasion and communication. Then I would say that I'm extremely hardworking and innovative. So I think I will these factors will ensure that I become a good civil servant.
So, but who's told you that you have all these qualities? What was the assessment? Who's made this assessment over on you?
I have made this assessment on the basis of things that I've done in the past, by analyzing uh, my past or my activities that have done, the competitions that I have taken part in, or the activities or events that have organized. On the basis of these things, I have analyzed these characteristics.
What would you call the what are the qualities as defined in the for the in the civil servant? What are the good qualities of a civil servant? Good qualities. Prioritize them. Think over. Prioritize three of them.
uh, Sir, I think one is integrity. Second is acceptance of differences in the society. Then third would be abiding by the law.
Okay. Thank you. Arun Mohan sir.
Yes. So, Shreya, your address in Delhi contains two very important names, Agast Kranti and Andrews.
Yes.
So, could you tell me something about these two things?
Sir, Agast Kranti refers to the Quit India movement that took place, that started from Gwalior Tank with call given by Gandhi. And Andrews Ganj is a lane which is based on or named after C.F. Andrews, who was also a great friend of Mahatma Gandhi. And he was basically a priest who had come to India and as a missionary, and he got involved in serving the people.
He was also a teacher, I think.
Yes, he was also a teacher.
You are a student of management, and you have mentioned the management as your area of strength in performance of your duties as an IAS.
Yes.
So, who is treated as the father of the modern management thought?
Sir, are you asking about scientific management?
The modern management thought has evolved from a particular person. After that, it has been developed.
Sorry, sir, I
A
don't know.
particular management style, management by objectives. You heard that term?
I don't remember, sir. Sorry.
Okay. What are the various management styles you are aware of?
Sir, I'm aware of scientific management, which was given by Frederick Taylor. Then
Okay.
similar, and then there is operational management or organizational management. So these things I know about.
These are not styles of management.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
Okay. Now, every IAS or IPS officer is in some way harbinger of a change. They are all change leader in some way.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, as a student of management, what are the important qualities of a change leader and how change is to be effected?
Sir, I think to bring change, it is necessary that the leader leads by example and not only by giving lectures or by verbal thoughts. So, in order to bring change, a leader will have to adopt the changes that he wants to bring into the society. For example, I know about an IS officer who wanted to promote uh, public schools or the government schools and wanted to ask people to send their schools to the government schools. So she enrolled her child in that same school. So this is an example how IS or civil servants can bring change in the society.
In management, there are certain steps for change management.
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
Identify the need for change, propagate that change, take the affluent people or those who have the influence on your side before you effect that change. You haven't studied all that?
Sir, I have, but since I think I've forgotten all of this.
Okay. Now, our government is privatizing public sector undertakings. What is your view on that?
Sir, I think at this stage, privatization has become very important. For example, because initially when we got independent, we chose socialism because our infrastructure was not up to mark, and we required the government to take up the responsibility for development and to build right kind of infrastructure, right kind of market for economic growth, and it did show good results. But now the society or the economy has more or less stabilized, and now with rise in the demographic dividend, it becomes very necessary that we have enough jobs available for the educated youth that is coming up. And with limited capacity, government might not be able to provide this. So private becomes very important. Along with that, private definitely has higher level of efficiency, which is not seen in government organizations. And private work with the motive of profit. So they are more likely to bring economic development in the country. So I support privatization overall.
The government has come with something in this budget on privatization, some norms. What are those norms?
So it says that certain sectors or the strategic sectors will be kept by the government, and the rest will be privatized. So the strategic sectors would include power, nuclear, defense. These kind of sectors will be kept by the government.
Okay. What is your view on this recapitalization of banks?
Sir, recapitalization of banks, I think that it has become necessary at this stage also, because banks are facing a lot of NPS. They are not able to cope up with the changes in the society. They are in dire need of funds, and recapitalization will definitely provide them the required funds.
Does it not go against the theory of whatever you were saying earlier about privatization? Shouldn't we privatize the banks also?
Sir, I think there are enough private banks available in the country, but the government banks are also become very necessary, because even during the early years post independence, the banks who gave credit to infrastructure were responsible for growth of the country. And even today, we will require public sector banks to lead growth in certain sectors like agriculture or the MSMEs or the small sectors, where the private banks might not provide, because as I said, they work on the profit basis. So they may be wary about giving it to such sectors. So in such situations, public sector banks become very necessary.
Okay, now I extend the same argument to Air India. As you are saying, private organizations, they are guided by profit. So same way, now if Air India is privatized, whosoever takes over, they will be guided by profit. They will not be taking over the routes which are not profitable. So will it not be counterproductive?
So counterproductive with respect to the government or with respect to?
Yes, in terms of the responsibility, social responsibilities, because Air India is in some way performing a social responsibility, just as you mentioned about banks. So same way, Air India is doing something which others will not be doing, and once it is privatized, that thing will not happen.
Sir, I think Air India, it may be providing service which is necessary for the country, but we must also understand that a public sector entity which is in great debt, it only brings hurdles for the government and to the exchequer. Now, if government is not being able to carry out its operations, then what benefit will it bring to the government? It will only lead to debt. So
Okay. Same way, banks are also incurring huge amount of losses, and public money is being spent on them to keep them alive. So I am saying these two arguments, they are not going together. What
Sir,
you are saying?
Sir, banks have a wider outreach. They are not only catering to one sector, while Air India will be only catering to one sector, that is people who can afford airlines, and not to the weaker sections of the society. In this manner, the banks become very important to cater to those people who do not have the funds, and especially the
Okay.
public sector banks.
You mentioned a term in one of your answers, demographic dividend.
Yes.
What exactly it is?
So demographic dividend refers to the change in the population structure of the country, and when there are more number of young people, it is a beneficial demographic dividend for a country.
So are we having some kind of a demographic dividend?
Yes, sir. We have larger, younger population, and we will reach its peak by 2040.
Are we really deriving the benefit that we should have derived?
Sir, currently, I think the utmost benefit has not been derived, but we are
Okay.
definitely on its path. For example, there is large level of skill training taking place, and several schemes are provided to promote startups or entrepreneurship. So we are trying, but since it takes time, because education has a large gestation period, any kind of education or any kind of skill or training, and after that period ends, only then a person will be getting into employment and reaping its benefit. So we will derive benefit, but it will take some time.
But by that time, the dividend will be over. Our population will have aged.
Sir, I cannot predict it, but I think we will be able to reach the level before the dividend gets over.
Okay, thank you. Right, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. So, Shreya,
Yes.
first on your subject on sociology, just go through the difference in Hegel and Karl Marx once again. I mean, it will become too elaborate if but just go through it. The differences in the points of, in the opinions, or in the thoughts of Karl Marx and Hegel. Okay, because it is said that Hegel turned Karl Marx on his head. So just go through it once. Then I'll come on your civil servant. I gave you it was a full toss. You could have taken a 6 out of it. There, I expected you, see, you mentioned integrity and rule of law, which are very important, undoubtedly. I told you that there may be very many qualities that is expected of a civil servant, but I would like you to list out 2 or 3 that is, I mean, because in integrity or rule of law, there are laws, there are rules to take care of them. If somebody deviates, misconducts himself, or has expressed or shows a defiant or a deviant behavior, there are ways in the All India Service Conduct Rules and the Central Services Conduct Rules to take care of them through the process of law. That is the so I would really not expect you to, I would rather expect you to have mentioned empathy as one of them, as good qualities of a civil servant, because unless you get into the shoes or get into the skin of if a person who is desirous of a law that the central government has made, but it is not brought for on the doorstep of a poor man, then he doesn't get the benefits out of. So empathy is one that I expected you to include in one of them. Then you could also have mentioned emotional intelligence, for instance, because that's a good way of taking, and you've read that in your GS3, I think, or GS4 somewhere, no? Emotional intelligence could have been one area of anticipating trouble in the society and getting over before it reaches a flashpoint. You take control of it. Second, third, on the farm laws, you went straight, you headlong, you took the answer. You could have first listed them out, just to briefly explain as to what is your concept or what is your understanding of the laws, of these laws, and that they have been, the due process of law has been followed in bringing out these laws to where they are today. That is the next one. In that, you should have known that Banaras Gharana Rajan Mishra ji has passed away, because that was,
Yes, sir.
no? Yeah. Then finally, on the pandemic, you did mention a district, but you could have given 2-3 more issues that have been brought forth and that has been debated and that is being accepted almost uniformly. One of them being training of paramedics.
Yes.
Because they are saying that even if you have sufficient quantity of the oxygen, who will deliver? And who knows how to deliver the optimum level? Because the audit of oxygen is revealing that many hospitals are overdoing it. I mean, they are wasting oxygen. When we are in dire need of it, it is being wasted. So paramedic training or training of the medical personnel is one area that has come out totally exposed, I mean, to some extent. So that is one thing that I expected you to, some lessons from the pandemic. And finally, on sociology again, on the Indian, so when I asked you about your favorite sociologist, that was a golden opportunity to you to have mentioned 2 or 3 of them and given out their, whatever their philosophy, either Andre Bete, M.N. Srinivasan, whatever. So you took some time to, but just go through them. Make up your mind, say 2 or 3, keep them in mind, because the likely question on sociology, favorite sociologist, is the favorite question of a board.
Yes.
Meera Saab.
So Shreya, it was a good performance
Thank you, sir.
by you. Some small things I will tell you. CAA, Rajiv sir had discussed with you. Now it is a very sensitive subject. So when you are answering questions on that, the way you answered, you simply said government is not doing the right thing. No, that's not the way to answer. You are actually, some of the board members may have been a party to it, framing of those rules.
Yes.
So you have to answer in a way that these are the rules formed with good intentions, whatever it is. And here is a small problem which could have been handled, or you are entitled to put your point of view, but at the same time, don't reject at any stage straight away the government point of view. Okay, you have to take care of that. And secondly, sometimes you don't know an answer and a board member tells you the answer. Okay.
Yes.
For example, you did not know Rajan Mishra
Right.
name. Rajiv sir, he told you that it was Rajan Mishra, but your response was, I think I don't know. That was, I would say, rude.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Rather, you should have thanked him for giving that answer to you. Okay.
Yes.
You have to take care, because it's not only your knowledge is not being tested now.
Mhm.
It has been tested in your main exam. Right now, what is being tested is your personality. And these very small things, they reflect on your personality. So take care of these things when you are responding to the interview. And these are things I just wanted to say. Otherwise, for example, this privatization aspect I was discussing with you, I think you need to delve a little more deeply into that subject, because you are a student of management and sociology. So these are questions which can come to you, this kind of question.
Yes.
Because privatization, just like CAA, again, privatization is a very sensitive subject. Government wants to privatize. Some people are saying it is just like selling the family wear. So you have to be careful in answering those questions without taking a particular side. You have to also tell what is the other point of view.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So just take care of that.
Yes.
And I'll request Neeraj sir to sum it up with his observations now.
Thank you.
Shreya, I think you did very well.
Thank you, sir.
Quite a good interview. Of course, the points that have been mentioned by the other board members, you should keep in mind. Any interviewer will look at you as a good candidate because you have a management degree from an Indian Institute of Management. So you have a plus point because you have that degree. But you should be able to convey all the skills that you have acquired as a management degree holder. When you are asked what is it, how is management going to help you in becoming a civil servant, one of the qualities that you must highlight is leadership. Because what is required at a district level is a good leader. If there's a man, there's a district magistrate or a district collector who is a good leader, he'll be able to see to it that things are in shape. For instance, that Nandar Bahar, district magistrate, he was able to anticipate the requirement of oxygen, and he was able to, cater for it much before the crisis arose. So you took care not to criticize the government about, and you said that, well, there are problems of transporting and logistics and so on and so forth. But the initiative that was taken by the DC of that district could have been taken by other districts as well. So that you failed to highlight. Otherwise, it was a good interview and you have done well. And I'm sure once you focus on sociology and also on certain aspects of management, you should be fine. You should be able to grade your responses and know where to put which quality on top and which quality number 2, which quality number 3. That would be very helpful. So all the best to you, and I'm sure you will come out with flying colors.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All the best, Shreya.
Thank you so much, sir.
All the best.
Okay, Shreya, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
So Vinod, now we meet at 3, is it?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay,
sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.